What's up, everybody? You're back with The Chosen Con. And today in the studio, we have Miss Amy. I keep forgetting your last... what is it? It's Amy? Midar. And we talked about this in the podcast briefly. We're like, why does a woman take her husband's last name? We didn't really dive... We never answered that question.
Well, I don't know about like the historical thing, but I did it out of respect and giving value to my husband.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right, so we have finally answered that question.
For myself.
Yeah. No,
not a general.
Yeah, because we were talking about like basically patriarchy. There's like double standards between men and women. We talked about, I guess a lot of the podcast was about being a child in a relationship where it's like toxic and the man is basically in power. So what was that like being what was it like growing up for you?
Oh, it was a scary environment. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a comfortable environment. It was dark. It was just dark all the time.
Yeah. You said it was also dark because your dad used to close the shades?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, in every way, metaphorically.
Yeah.
You know, like don't tell anybody anything.
Yeah.
So it was by no means a healthy upbringing as a child.
And
There's a lot of losses for a child.
Yeah. You also talked about how, as a child, you'd see your mother struggling, mm-hmm. right? And then what would you do? Like there was an incident where your mom, what happened? Were you outside?
One particular incident that I remember was I'm the oldest of four, so I felt like I sometimes was like a protector for my mom.
Yeah.
And so this one time, my dad and my mom, I guess he was going to attack her. I don't remember all those details, but I got in between the two of them. Mm-hmm. And within seconds, we were both thrown out of the house.
Yeah.
And so my mom and I spent the entire night outside in the middle of nature.
Yeah.
And I just remember my mom being angry with me.
Yeah.
Like,
she's just disciplining you, right?
Yeah, the whole night. See, you're here because you just had to step in and don't step in. And but that's what a mom does, right? She says...
She cares about you, right?
Even you don't need to be here. I'm here. And she almost probably got used to it, but she didn't want me out there.
No, when you told me that story, it resonated a lot because then I got to listen to your story about you being a mother, mm-hmm. right? So I'm like, man, like this is I'm learning a lot of things right now because I can't be a mother.
No.
This is the closest thing I'll be to
but then you can be a really good dad.
I'll try to, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to try to be a very good dad. But going back to, like, as growing up then, you saw the toxic relationship between your mom and dad. And then you went to, right before you went to high school, your dad passed away. Mm-hmm. What was that like for you?
It was freeing. It took off a lot of the heaviness that I had, the fears that I had that my dad would show back up mm-hmm. in my life. Or I think I had started to think that we were repairing our life.
Yeah.
So I feared that, every day he would show back up and destroy whatever we had created because mm-hmm. it was so unstable. And so when my dad, and I don't want to say it the way it sounds, but when he finally passed away, mm-hmm. it was like, okay, we can begin now.
Yeah.
We can move forward.
You also told me that your dad, like he abused a lot of substances, mm-hmm. right? And that's something that we dissected as well. That mm-hmm. We have a lot of alcohol abuse in our community, mm-hmm. right? And mm-hmm. why do you think that is?
My personal belief is that when you have addictions line up with mental health issues. Mm-hmm. And so, and these are just my limited experiences, but I think that the people that I've dealt with who are addicted to whether it's alcohol or some harder type of drugs.
Cocaine, it could be anything. Yeah.
It's because they're trying to escape and they're trying to just not feel it for a minute, whatever it is that they're going through. And it's sad. It's really rippling. Sad because it's actually causing more, it's like putting fuel in the fire.
Yeah. It's like you're burying it, but it's actually, you're bottling it up. It's going to explode.
It's going to explode.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then we talked about how your journey, which for me, like it was fascinating seeing just all the moments, high school, all of that, but also how you basically like came to grips with it all. Mm-hmm. Right. And you gave me that quote. Well, we'll talk about that quote quickly. This is one of my favorite quotes. But before that, you talked about your own journey of like self-help and how you started figuring what happened for you.
Well, I in my high school career and going into college and university, when I I didn't really want to, I didn't know who I was at all. First of all, I was just trying to be so many different people to fit in. And even in my 20s, I was doing the same thing. Early in my marriage, I was trying to figure out who I was. And so when I just got tired of chasing these alter egos that I really was, this person that I really wasn't, I just had to step back and say, okay, you need to work on you, and you're not being a very good member of our society and our community because you don't even know who you are. So who are you presenting yourself to be? So I spent a lot of time, and I continue to. So this is a never-ending journey for me.
So it doesn't just happen. I figured it out.
No. I had to make a lot of mistakes and bad decisions before I kind of realized that I was making mistakes and bad decisions, right? And so. Yeah, I got the good fortune of getting my aha moment of fix yourself and figure it out, and it's okay. And being honest with myself was so important because I didn't want to face some of the things that, I had experienced as a child, things that were unwanted, things that I did to myself, just all of these things because I was trying to just run away from what I had seen in my life. So I spent a lot of time just researching myself.
And what was the quote that you came up with?
Oh gosh, you're putting me on the spot. But basically what I feel is it's be righteously selfish, because then the presentation of yourself is going to be so much better. Yeah. And I just, be honest. And I'm being given the good fortune of being able to share openly and honestly so that we can lift the veil of shame and the need to hide things because our community feels differently about it. Our society feels differently about it. Yeah. So when one person can start to be honest that, you know what, I kind of lived a not so great life and I had things that came onto me that I didn't really want, whether it was abuse or even deeper issues. But being able to share them with people, I think if somebody can look at me and say, okay, if she can share it openly in front of a lot of people, I could probably go share it with one person and begin healing, begin therapy. So I'm hoping. I
love that.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's kind of my platform is I'm hoping that if somebody can say, okay, well, she's pretty open and she's pretty confident about it and look what she went through, I'll go tell one person.
It just starts with one.
It just starts with one.
Yeah. That's so powerful. So check out the full podcast because that's what we dive into. We dived into more detail about what happened as a child, the different, the different homes that you guys went to, the women's shelters, what that was like, how you have your kids. She actually dropped some Harry Potter wisdom on me, which was wonderful, right? She's learning about Harry Potter now. I am. Right? And then actually this is interesting, a fun tidbit. When you and your husband were about to have a child, what happened?
Our first? Yeah. Well, we wanted a girl.
Yeah, so they wanted a girl, and then they were upset.
We wanted a girl. We were upset for like a minute.
But I feel like you can hold this on. The little guy.
Yeah, he's still. Oh gosh.
But you have a daughter now.
I do. Yeah, and we wanted a girl, which is really funny because that's not
the norm.
That isn't. But it's starting to become. I think.
Hell yeah, girls are way smarter.
Women are perfect. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm gonna be out of a job soon, man.
No.
There's like some female, the chosen con. No. Like, damn, man. No. Damn, she's way more. Oh yeah, that's gonna happen. It's inevitable. But yeah, no, I appreciate you coming on the show. Thank you so much
for your time.
Listen to the full podcast. I learned a lot. And also, so you're doing a lot of. You were saying that you're doing some women's.
So I get to do some presentations and I take opportunities as I see fit. Do they have to mean something? They have to. My delivery with it has to be important and it is important to me. So I get to work with women and kind of walk with them through their journeys of so many different topics. But at the end of the day, we're all human. We all desire to be accepted, wanted, loved, and feel together, feel 100%. Unified in whatever we're going through. So I get to work with them and it's
that's awesome. That must be very fulfilling.
It is.
Yeah. It is. That's sweet. Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Like us on Facebook, SoundCloud, Twitter. Check us out on Instagram. Follow my boy Luke. And tune in next week. Peace. Thank you for watching our videos. Your support really means a lot to us. Check out our podcast and honestly check out the other conversations we've been having as well.